the Game Awards, the ultimate gaming event of the last 10 years where games get nominated in many categories to compete against each other. Of course, the most famous and controversial one being the Game of the Year, aka the GOTY. Today we have a twist though, because I asked the AI to give me their personal GOTY of every year from 2014 to 2024. I asked 5 different softwares, ChatGPT, Gemini, Meta, Lashat, and DeepSeek to be more specific. I found many answers that I wasn't expecting at all, and I'm sure you'll be surprised as well. Starting with the first year, 2014. Back then this award didn't have that much relevance. It was the first year where the official Game Awards would be created as we know it. The contenders of that year were Bayonetta 2, Dark Souls 2. I'm very surprised about this one since it's the most hated game of the franchise. Dragon Age Inquisition, back when they actually made good games and didn't try to force any agenda. Hearthstone, and Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor, with its innovative Nemesis system and the Lord of the Rings setting. ChatGPT chose Dragon Age Inquisition as its GOTY. Interestingly enough, Gemini chose Alien Isolation, a game that wasn't even nominated. Then DeepSeek picked Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor. So right now the scale is balanced. But then Meta and Lashat arrived and agreed with ChatGPT, giving the award to Dragon Age Inquisition, which was also the actual winner back in 2014. 2015 was a banger for the gaming industry, as it has 2 of my favorite games of all time, Bloodborne, with its Lovecraftian horror and the Souls formula, and The Witcher 3: Wild Hunt, with its incredible dark fantasy setting. Both of them actually made it to the list of nominees at the Gaming Gala, alongside Fallout 4, Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain, and a Nintendo exclusive, Super Mario Maker. In the entirety of the decade this award has been given, the AI softwares agreed by unanimous decision in only 4 years, and 2015 is one of them, because The Witcher 3 got chosen by all of them, obliterating the competition. And mind you, these games are actually incredible. So that just goes to show how amazing the story of Geralt of Rivia had to be in order to get the award with all of them agreeing on it. So, The Witcher 3 was not only the choice of the AI, but it also won the GOTY award back in 2015. Honestly, to the surprise of no one, totally deserved. This game is brutally good even today. I actually made a video on it recently, so I'll leave it at the end in case you want to see it. A year later, the GOTY winner of 2016 was Overwatch. As much as it pains me to say it, Overwatch back then was a game changer in the hero shooter genre. The other nominees were Doom, a reboot of the Doom franchise, a first-person shooter that revitalized this brutal apocalyptic shooter type of game. Titanfall 2, the father of Apex Legends, with a super fun multiplayer and a campaign that is incredibly underrated. Come on EA, I'm still waiting for Titanfall 3. Inside, a puzzle platform horror game. And my personal game of the year, Uncharted 4, A Thief's End. God, I really don't get how these games were beaten by Overwatch. And I'm not the only one who thinks like that, because ChatGPT chose Uncharted 4 as his pick. Gemini as well as DeepSeek chose Doom. However, Meta and Lashat went for Overwatch. And since we have a draw here, I asked ChatGPT again to choose between Overwatch and Doom, and he went for the latter, making Doom the GOTY of the AI. Doom won because according to the AI, it's a complete self-contained experience, with a masterful combat design, a killer soundtrack, fluid movement, and a perfect pacing. 2017 had some surprises, including the likes of Horizon Zero Dawn, a new IP of PlayStation that followed the story of Aloy and combined an apocalyptic world with robot dinosaur-like creatures. Persona 5, the JRPG everyone loves. Super Mario Odyssey, PUBG, Unknown Battlegrounds, the father of battle royales. However, none of these games were able to compete against the masterpiece that Nintendo had cooked, The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. This title took the elements that characterize Zelda and created a beautiful open world that was so addictive you couldn't stop exploring, with the freedom to go literally anywhere you wanted. This game is so legendary that the AI had no choice but to give it to the game that revived the adventure of Link, being the second game in this list with the honor of winning by unanimous decision. Up next we have what everyone has been waiting for, 2018. This year was unlike any other in the gaming industry, and the nominees are proof of that. I think that this year was so good that they changed the award to have not only 5, but 6 nominees. Starting off with Assassin's Creed Odyssey, the AC set in the ancient Greece with an open world and a formula inspired in The Witcher 3. Celeste, a 2D platformer that won the hearts of the gamers with its pixel art. Monster Hunter World, the 5th installment in the Monster Hunter series made by Capcom. Marvel's Spider-Man. At last, a worthy game of our friendly neighborhood with both a strong story and a fun gameplay. These 4 games were awesome, but sadly, they didn't have a choice. Their rivals were competitors not for Game of the Year, but for Best Game of All Time, Red Dead Redemption 2 and God of War. Red Dead 2 was phenomenal. It created a world like no other, the industry standard even to this day, with memorable characters, one of the best protagonists, and really cool mechanics. But it wasn't enough because Kratos came and took the GOTY award for himself, thanks to the amazing narrative set in another mythology with a brutal combat system and a song that challenged him in a way that we had never seen before. But what did the AIs think of this? ChatGPT chose God of War as its personal winner. On the other hand, Gemini opposed to that thought, choosing Red Dead Redemption 2. A very close combat so far. What about the others? Is this the biggest robbery in history? Apparently not, because all the other softwares agreed with ChatGPT. I just love both of these games so much, and I would be happy with any of them taking the title. They both deserve it. But hey, what do you think? Let me know your opinion down in the comments. Do you agree with the AI, or you think that Red Dead should have taken the title? Moving on to 2019, we had the first GOTY of From Software, Sekiro. Amazing game, by the way. Sekiro had some good contenders against it, such as Control, Death Stranding, the new IP of Kojima, The Outer Worlds, not to be mistaken with Outer Wilds, which I've heard is awesome, Resident Evil 2, an incredible remake, probably the best remake ever made, and Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, the good old fighting game that we all love. All of those were good games, but I guess not good enough to beat the Shinobi. ChatGPT, Gemini, Meta, and Leshat chose Sekiro because of its incredible Japanese setting, addictive combat, and jaw-dropping boss fights. Interestingly enough, DeepSeek had another pick. The game that the Chinese AI chose wasn't among the nominees. Instead, DeepSeek went for Disco Elysium. 2020 was another year full of controversy. This year saw the likes of Animal Crossing: New Horizons, a lovely game for Nintendo, Doom Eternal, the sequel to our previous nominee in 2016, Final Fantasy VII Remake, The Last of Us Part 2, the most awaited and controversial sequel of all time. Also, the winner of the award back then, Hades, a roguelike of Greek mythology, and my personal GOTY, Ghost of Tsushima, an open-world game set in the Isles of Japan that follows the emotional journey of Jin Sakai. So, what did the AI choose? The Last of Us Part 2 started strong with the votes of Meta and Leshat, but then Gemini chose Hades, followed by DeepSeek. ChatGPT arrived to tip the scales, making Hades the winner for its addictive gameplay loop, innovation, attractive art direction, and music. 2021 was a weird year because there wasn't a clear winner for the majority of the players. It was during the pandemic, so I feel like most people were playing multiplayer games with their friends instead of single-player games. The winner of this year was It Takes Two, a game focused on a split-screen co-op experience, something that is not usual at all these days. I recently got the chance to finish it, and I gotta tell you, it's awesome. I was skeptical at first, but it blew me away how creative both the levels and mechanics can get. The other nominees were Deathloop, Metroid Dread, Psychonauts 2, Ratchet & Clank, Rift Apart, and Resident Evil Village, which was actually ChatGPT's pick. Gemini chose It Takes Two. Inscription, which wasn't even nominated, took the vote of DeepSeek. Kind of interesting to see that DeepSeek had the least expected answers. And to close it off, both Meta and Leshat agreed with ChatGPT, making Resident Evil Village the AI winner. Moving on to 2022, we had From Software winning the title of the GOTY for the second time, but this time with Elden Ring. I love you, Elden Ring. From Software was competing against A Plague Tale, Requiem, Stray, I can't believe this was nominated, Tunic, the spiritual successor of the old Zelda games, Horizon Forbidden West, poor Horizon, competing against Zelda in 2017 and now against Elden Ring. That's unfortunate. And God of War Ragnarok, the sequel to the GOTY of 2018. With all due respect to the nominees, they stood no chance against Elden Ring because it was chosen by every single AI, being the third winner on this list by unanimous decision. Elden Ring won because it achieved an incredibly difficult task of adapting the Souls formula into an open world. It blew all the expectations away, and let me tell you, they were high indeed. This game took the crown for its fantastical world, freedom, brutal difficulty, and challenging gameplay. After that, we had a year with many surprises. Maybe 2023 was a year that blew everyone away because I feel like we had a bunch of great games that were not on the radar. First, we had the remake of the beloved Resident Evil 4, which was awesome. Then, when Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom came out, everyone was sure it would win the award, just like it did back in 2017. However, Baldur's Gate 3 arrived out of nowhere and stole the heart of the gaming community. Then, the same thing happened with Alan Wake 2. Then with Super Mario Bros. Wonder, and finally with Spider-Man 2. It seemed as the conversation reignited with every release, but at the end, Baldur's Gate 3 took the award for its phenomenal RPG with turn-based combat and a choice-driven story. It was chosen not only at the Game Awards, but it also managed to get the fourth and last victory by unanimous decision of this list of AI softwares. And just like that, we finally made it to the end of our list, with the GOTY of 2024. I feel like 2024 wasn't such a strong year as the past two had been. The nominees were Astro Bot, a platformer centered on the new features of the PS5, Balatro, a card game. You're lucky Gwent wasn't released in the same year. Black Myth Wukong, an action game adaptation of the Chinese tale of Wukong. Elden Ring, Shadow of the Erdtree, a DLC for the GOTY of 2022, which was awesome, but a DLC nonetheless. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, the sequel to the beloved Final Fantasy VII. Metaphor ReFantazio, a JRPG made by the same studio behind the Persona series. To the surprise of many people, the one who ended up taking the trophy was Astro Bot. However, the AI wasn't so keen on this decision, because only Meta agreed with it. ChatGPT went for Final Fantasy Rebirth. Gemini, on the other hand, chose Helldivers 2, which wasn't even nominated. DeepSeek chose Balatro. And finally, the chat gave its vote to Helldivers 2. This is so interesting because, like I said, this game wasn't even nominated for the award, despite many people really loving the game. This game broke the internet and brought back the good old online experience with friends. As a little conclusion, I want to congratulate The Witcher 3, Zelda Breath of the Wild, Elden Ring, and Baldur's Gate 3. They were the only 4 games in this list that won with every AI agreeing on it, and I feel like no one could say otherwise. Like, I've never heard any controversy surrounding those GOTYs. If I had to choose one, I think that I would personally incline towards the answers that ChatGPT had. I don't entirely agree with it, but I do in most cases. And it was very surprising to see the answers that DeepSeek gave, since some of the games weren't even nominated. It was unexpected and the most original. Lastly, I would also like to congratulate Helldivers 2 for being the only game on this list that won the AI GOTY without actually being nominated last year. I think it is very interesting to see all the opinions every AI had regarding the best game of the year. What do you think of their choices? Let me know down in the comments which AI do you incline towards. And let me know which game do you think should win the award in 2025. This has been such a great year. We've had Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, Silksong, and even though I personally haven't played it, I think that Expedition 33 will take the award. But let me know your opinion. I am genuinely interested in that. Don't forget to like and sub if you enjoyed the video. I'm trying to reach 1,000 subs by the end of the year, so it would mean the world to me. As always, thank you so much for watching. I am the Valley Knight, and I'll see you in the next video.